اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال: سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت: دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: عليك السلام. قال: إني أجد في بطني ضعفا. فقلت له: إذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة إيتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلعلع كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال: يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ فقال: عليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: عليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتعزن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافي أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عم رسول الله. فقلت: ونعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتعزن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له: وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا صاحب يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لواعي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا بتاه يا رسول الله، أتعزن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء فقال: اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن أعداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل: يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات، إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيعا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل: يا ربي، ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل: يا ربي، أتعزن لي أن أحبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم، قد أذنت لك. فحبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرأك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تعزن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام: يا أمين وحي الله، إنه نعم، قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي: يا رسول الله، أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واستفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفي جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي: إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا: يا علي، والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واستفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفي جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله همه، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي: إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا، وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. الفاتحة.
सकाय हरम रख ले न बरम, हम दर पे तुम्हारे आए हैं। सकाय हरम रख ले न बरम, हम दर पे तुम्हारे आए हैं। तुम भी नहीं हमको ठुकराना, तुम भी नहीं हमको ठुकराना, हम दुनिया के टुकराए हैं। सकाय हरम रख ले न बरम, हम दर पे तुम्हारे आए हैं। सकाय हरम रख ले न बरम, हम दर पे तुम्हारे आए हैं। हर सूनी गोदी खिल जाए, हर बेटी को रिश्ता मिल जाए। उन चेहरों को रौनक दे दो, उन चेहरों को रौनक दे दो, जो गम के सबब मुरझाए हैं। सकाय हरम रख ले न बरम, हम दर पे तुम्हारे आए हैं। मौला 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 तुम बाबी हवाइज हो रोज़े पे उन्हें भी बुलवा लो गुर्बत की सबब जो आ न सके गुर्बत की सबब जो आ न सके हम उनके अरीज़े लाए हैं सकाए हरम रख ले न बरम हम दर पे तुम्हारे आए हैं सकाए हरम रख ले न बरम हम दर पे तुम्हारे आए हैं सलवात
Assalamu alaikum. Mu'mineen, salamun alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of Wessex Jamaat, our felicitations to the Imam of our time and to all of the mu'mineen on the occasion of the Wiladat of Qamar Bani Hashim, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam. Can I please request the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha for all of those who have contributed towards tonight's program and for all of the marhumeen of those gathered here this evening. Surah Al-Mubarakatul Fatiha. As a reminder, if you would like to sponsor a program or arrange recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha for your marhumin, please arrange this by contacting treasurer@almahdi.org.uk. As we draw nearer to the holy month of Ramadan, the Al-Mahdi Madrasa team has launched the 7th installment of the Shahr Ramadan Quran Hifth competition. The competition is open to all children up to the age of 18, with different memorization tasks set for each age group. There will be prizes for participation and for the winners, and further details have been sent out by email, including the registration form. The registration deadline is Saturday, the 18th of March, inshallah. All the children are encouraged to participate in this noble competition. For any queries, please do speak to Sheikh Hazrat Abbas Datu. The Ladies' Committee of Wessex Jamaat are excited and have the pleasure of inviting all of the sisters and children to attend a Milad program in celebration of the birth of the holy personalities. This Jashan event will include a skit on active intidhar, a mushaira, and a children's parade, and will take place on Sunday, March 12th at 2 p.m. Do save the date, and the ladies look forward to welcoming all of the sisters and children to this event. Also, as a reminder, the program for the Wiladat of our 4th Holy Imam will commence tomorrow at the earlier time of 7 p.m. The main program will thereafter be followed by a mushaira program by the volunteers team. All mu'mineen are invited to attend and participate, inshallah. The majlis for this evening will be delivered by Sheikh Muhammad Jawad Shamali. Having studied and taught in the Islamic seminaries in Qum in Iran for almost a decade, Sheikh Jawad then joined the University of Cambridge, where he completed a master's and PhD in Middle Eastern studies. He has developed a strong interest for mental health and psychology, and one of his focuses has been the intersection between psychotherapy and spiritual development. Many of you will have heard his lectures either in the various Islamic centers or through social media. And alhamdulillah, we are delighted, Sheikh, that you've accepted our invitation to join us for the next 2 programs, inshallah. So without further ado, mu'mineen, can I please ask you to join me in welcoming Sheikh Jawad with the loudest recitation of 3 salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Thank you so much. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صلى على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I hope that you're well, inshallah. It's a pleasure for me to be among you on such a lovely evening. How are you feeling? Everything is good? Alhamdulillah. Khoshhali Mubarak, is that how you say it here? Khoshhali Mubarak. Is khoshhali only used for religious occasions, or in another, let's say for example, wedding? Does that apply as well or no? It would? No? So khoshhali for you is a religious occasion, yeah? Because khoshhali for us, as in like in Persian, just means happiness. But khoshhali here, it has that meaning of a religious occasion. Very good, very good. So, sorry? Tabrik, yes, very well said, yes. So khoshhali Mubarak. And I thought, because we're in the month of Shabaan, we could speak a little bit about Munajat Sha'baniyeh and go through it. And Munajat Sha'baniyeh is one of those munajats that a lot of the Ma'sumin have recited it. It's not just from one Imam. So inshallah, we'll talk about that, and you see how much there is
to learn from. Does my voice have echo a little bit, or is that just my natural voice? If it has, it's okay. If it has, it would be nice to make it less. If it's just my own voice, okay, let it be. Okay, please recite salawat and let's start this. Assalamu alaikum. One of the points that I keep mentioning, and I'm going to mention it even more as we go on, is that as much as we love the Ahlul Bayt, we are not still very close to their understanding of life, of God, of religion. The understanding they have, Ahlul Bayt, for example, tonight we're going to discuss Munajat Sha'baniyah. You will see it's quite different to what we are used to. And as we go on through the munajat, I'm expecting that you will find yourself saying, ooh, for example, Munajat Shabaan, interesting. This is very important because one of the things I very firmly believe in is that we still haven't tapped into the true power of religion to transform our lives. We come here, do the khoshhali, a little bit nars, not haidaris, not fulans, wearing something nice, and we go back to our life. And I've always said we struggle to find this love for the Ahlul Bayt on our day-to-day life, that moment when we're having a conflict at home, something at work goes wrong. It's very difficult to get this energy there and feel like, okay, my religion is helping me, or and that breaks my heart because what we have in our ad'iyah is so, it has so much potential to transform us. Just, this Munajat Shabaan is basically meant to be read these days, right? These nights. If you look at towards the end of the Munajat, the kind of things that it describes, it's next level. It's next level. Like if someone asks you, what do you think is a good ambition for a religious person, for a Shia, for example? What would you say that ambition is? Like if someone says, what's your highest expectation that you have for yourself in your religious spiritual life? If anyone, by the way, would like to say anything as well, now I would like to hear it as well. What's your biggest ambition? If someone asked you that, what do you think through your religion you'll achieve? Would anyone be brave enough to share with us? Or yes, mashallah, we have a very brave soul.
To get as close as possible to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Very beautiful, very beautiful. Thank you so much, brother, for sharing. I really appreciate it. To get to, for in case the microphone didn't catch it for sisters as well, to get very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is a very good segue for me to read now what kind of closeness does Munajat Sha'baniyah say it's possible. Because a very good question now could be, if someone asks us, are we close to God or not, what would we say? It's a good question, right? Because being close to God, a person may think they are, a person may, like, how do I assess if I am close or not? Because we know God is close to us, that's for sure. نَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. We are closer to you than your jugular vein. Or we have that hadith that says your heart is with God. So we know God is close to us already. The only problem is we don't feel that. Now, as the brother rightfully said, we want to get to a place where we feel God is close to us, which in our language we say getting close to God. Now, what kind of closeness is possible? Is it, for example, that I pray I pray 5 times a day, every now and then I feel like, oh, I remember God in my work. Is that enough? Or is there more available? Now, when I want to just read a few lines from the end of the dua for you, so you see what kind of things do the Imams taught us to expect from our life, and where are we at? This is the end, towards the end of Munajat Sha'baniyah, Munajat that we're meant to read these nights. إلهي هب لي كمال الانقطاع إليك. I want full انقطاع. انقطاع is when you're completely cut off from everyone else, not physically, just in terms of your hope in them. Like you say, God, I want my joy, love, pleasure, peace, trust, all of that to come from you. I don't want to go anymore among people looking for things to make me feel better. I want this kamal al-inqita on you, full, complete devotion and surrender to you. Now, that's not the part. The next word is crazy. وَأَنِرْ أَبْصَارَ قُلُوبِنَا بِالضِّيَاءِ نَظَرِهَا إِلَيْكَ. And give light to the vision of our hearts. Initially, it may seem a little bit difficult to understand. Be there with me a few minutes. We'll open it up. Because one of the things about these lines of the Ahl Bayt I say is people say, oh wow, it's so difficult to understand. Subhanallah. Well, that's useless. We're trying to understand it, right? So bear with me. We're going to open it up. Imam says, Anir absara qulubina. Give light to the vision of our heart. بِالضِّيَاءِ نَظَرِهَا إِلَيْكَ. How should you give light to the vision of my heart? In the way that my heart would look at you, and from your light it will get light. Does that make sense? Imam says, God, I want my heart to look at you, and through this looking at you, get light. Well, what would happen if that happens? حتى تخرق أبصار القلوب حجب النور. So that the vision of my heart can break the veils that are between us and God. فَتَحَسِّلَ إِلَى مَعْدِنِ الْعَظِمَةِ. And I manage to reach and connect to the source of greatness. Let me explain that. Imam says, God, between me and you, so as we said, God is already close to us. God is already there with us. God is closer to us than ourselves. نَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. But we cannot feel God right now. Right? We cannot see God, unfortunately. We cannot feel God. Every now and then we get a glimpse of it and we're so excited and we have so much energy. Imam says the reason you can't feel God, even though God is always there with you, is between you and God. In your vision, the vision of your heart, there are some veils. There's some veils that stops you from encountering God. Imagine if you were all here, but there was something in front of me that I couldn't see you. Like there was like a partition in front of me. We would all be here, but I couldn't see any of you, right? Maybe just from your voices I would know you are. Now Imam says God is all around you, God is even next to you, God is close to you, but there are certain veils at the gates of your perception that stops you from feeling God. Although still, every now and then something comes through the veil, so it's not like you're cut off from God, even in your perception, otherwise you would not even lost. Every now and then you get a breeze of God. Like when we go to Hajj, or when sometimes through a difficulty when we're on our own and we're cut off from other people and suddenly we rely on God and we feel Him in our life. Or maybe once in a night of Qadr, here and there, we feel something, some form of connection to God. Imam says that's not enough. That's just a taster. You have to see God in every moment of your life. And these veils will be removed when God helps you look at Him, and that light would be so beautiful that will penetrate the veils between us and God. It seems a little bit crazy, I know, like that was not meant to be how a lecture starts, but I thought I'll just give you a taste of what kind of things Ahl Bayt cared about. Does that make sense? Ahl Bayt weren't like, you know, I just want to be a good person, do my prayer, do my a'mal, and die. Hopefully I'll go to heaven. No, that's not the ambition they had, not for themselves, not for us. Their ambition was like, Insan, you're a Khalifa of God. You are the Prince of existence. When God created you, God congratulated Himself. Angels did sajdah for Adam. That's how important and special you are. Why are you living your life as if you're alone on your own with all of these pressures? If you think about it, that's how most of us experience life. On my own, there's so much pressure on me. I have to take care of my family. No one knows how I'm feeling. And I'm just every now and then praying, hoping God accepts, and one day I go to heaven. Munajat Shabani says, that's not our religion. Maybe that's the religion they taught you in madrasa or somewhere. That's not the religion of Ahlul Bayt. You're meant to encounter your Creator. You're meant to look at your Creator. Imam Ali was asked, isn't that interesting? Have you seen God? He was like, would I worship a God I have not seen? And then he of course explained that I saw him with the haqiqat imani. They explain it's not like with physical eyes you look at an object in the world, that's God, because the whole world is a manifestation of God. The reason I mention all of this is to say that in these nights of Shabaan, these are the kind of experiences God is offering to people. Not just 10 sawab so that your grandma who passed away would be a little bit happy, you send her a salawat. You can gain so much light, you can do way more even for your grandma. Our expectations are so low. We're like, let me get some sawab, we'll send it here and there, we'll transfer it for Masalan, we go to this exchange, we'll transfer some sawab for our akhirah. Munajat Shabani says, dude, no, in this night you can encounter God, you can bypass your akhirah. If this level that Munajat Shabani talks about happens, you're actually post akhirah. We haven't spoken about this so much, I'm scared to even say it. But Imam says, فَتَحَسِلَ إِلَى مَعْدَنِ الْعَظَمَةِ. When these veils go in from your eyes, you get connected to the source of greatness, مَعْدَنِ الْعَظَمَةِ, the treasuries, the source of all that is in this world. If you think about it, in this life, one of the scholars was saying, we are like the son of a king, we're like a prince whose father owns everything, but he has forgotten that and he goes around begging from people to get some stuff. Like, imagine your father is the king, all the money, the best food, the best, facilities, vehicles, everything is for you, but you don't know that. You go around people, can you give me some food so I can have? Can you give me a little bit of, can I stay in your house for one night? Now, Imam says, that's kind of how we're living right now. We go to people begging for, can you just pay attention a little bit to me? Can you just love me a little bit? Can you see me? Do you know how many people are still yearning to be seen, to be noticed? And this is something that, as a psychotherapist, I see a lot. People don't notice this. The person is 70 years old. Like, what motivated you, pushed you to work? So I just wanted to feel like I'm good enough. People love me. 70 years old, still we feel sometimes, I want to be seen, I want to be appreciated, I want to be loved, I want to be okay, I want to be good enough. Now, these kind of feelings we're looking for, Munajat Shabani says, the source of it is with God. Ma'dan al-'azama. You want to be heard, you want to be understood, you want to feel enough, you want to feel like you're loved, appreciated, you want happiness. The source of it is with God, who's waiting for you to go and get it from Him. But we forget we are the prince of this existence. We go around begging it from people. And people, poor thing themselves, everyone is struggling. I expect, for example, my family to give me attention. My family wants attention from me. Everyone is here in this world struggling for love and attention. Right? So this is what ma'dan al-'azama means. Imam says there is a whole source of everything you're chasing for among people. The source of it is here waiting. In these nights of Shabaan, there are people who connect to that source and they get everything like you're spoon feeding yourself. Some people are connected to the source and everything is sorted for them. This is religion of Ahlul Bayt. Anything else other than this has nothing to do with them. And this is why I feel like we need to wake up as followers of Ahl Bayt, as followers of Islam. This is all Islam, this is the way of all the prophets. That insan, you're so special, you're not living the way you deserve to live. You still don't know your own worth. You don't know what kind of life is possible for you. You don't know what kind of bounties God is just giving out on these nights. Please recite the salawat. So, that was just to show you in Munajat Sha'baniyah what heights a person can reach. Now we're going to go back before that, because that line I read that said, I'm going to be connected to the source of everything and all of that, that's like when the plane has taken off. That was like kind of like towards the end of the dua. Now we're going to rewind a little bit and start when the plane is about to take off. So we're going to start from the beginning of the dua. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. It starts with the salawat, and then واسمع دعائي إذا دعوتك واسمع ندائي إذا ناديتك وأقبل علي إذا ناجيتك. This is how Munajat Sha'baniyah starts. God, listen to my call when I call unto you. Right? واسمع دعائي إذا دعوتك. Hear my call when I call out to you. واسمع ندائي إذا ناديتك. Similar thing. وَأَقْبِلْ عَلَيَّ إِذَا نَاجَيْتُكَ. And when I whisper to you and when I'm calling on to you, look at me, face me. There is so much just in these 2-3 lines. You know how I said God is already connected to us? We don't feel Him, right? And when I ask you, where is God? Have you felt God? Most of us be like, no, where is God? I feel I'm on my own. So Imam says, yes, that is the natural starting point for us. We find ourselves in this world, even in some German philosophers, they call it, it's like we are thrown into the world. It's not like you chose to come to this life. I mean, there may be some discussion on that, but at least you don't remember that. The way you experience life is suddenly I'm born, I'm here, I'm in a family, I need to grow up and I need to do things. That's how we experience life. We're on our own. There's so much pressure. Imagine what's some of the earliest memories you have of this life. Maybe you were at home and they said you have to study. Why? You have to get a job. You need money. You need to survive. You need to provide for yourself. That's kind of how we experience life. Unless you were in this like amazing spiritual families that from the start they gave you the right truth. Most families, we put the pressure on children. A soul, beautiful soul has come to this world. Instead of celebrating that, wow, this is the experience of life. The parents themselves, poor things, are under so much pressure. Just pass that pressure on to the next generation. You need to succeed. Let's work on you need to touch different textures so that your brain gets strengthened. The amount of pressure parents feel now. And all of that pressure is then transferred onto the child. You know what? You need to, if you want to apply to university, you need to have at least 5 good hobbies so that it looks good on your CV. Then you go to uni, now you need to find a job, now you need to do this. Pressure. So you find yourself alone, everyone expects you to achieve stuff. Now someone comes and says, there is a God. Imagine that's what prophets came to say. Insan, you're not on your own. Even though your religious parents and your madrasa, everyone made you feel alone. No one managed to help you feel that there's someone there looking after you. You've got a God. Well, let's say through all of that noise of the pressure of the society, family, and all of that, you heard the voice that someone says there is a reality out there who's got your back. Now you're like, how can I find you? This is one of those points in which Ahl Bayt and our understanding of religion go 2 different ways. The way religion, usually the way we understand it, tells us to now, if you want to find the source that has your back, is go pray, go read the Quran, go do this, go do that, find your way back to God. As in like, with each prayer, you're building a kind of like, you get a brick with each prayer or Quran or Amal, you put these bricks on top of each other and you go on top of it and reach God, as if that's how it works. But And I'm not saying we shouldn't pray or read Quran. No, that's not at all what I'm saying. I'll say what our attitude should be. I'm saying the attitude that I should pray or I should read the Quran or fast or do all of these things to earn God has not worked. Because how many people who are praying have even for one moment felt connection to God? What does Imam Ali say? And this is, by the way, a theme repeated by the Ahl Bayt. Ahl Bayt say, now that you find yourself alone and separated from God, it would be very difficult for you to find your way back to God. Don't rely on yourself. Sit down there somewhere, and this doesn't mean lack of action. No? Even action will have a different attitude. We'll talk about it. Ahl Bayt say, wherever you are, call on to God to come and find you. So that's how Munajat Shabaniyeh starts. وَاسْمَعْ دُعَائِي إِذَا دَعَوْتُكَ. God, I'm in this life. I've even gone to Hajj, I couldn't find you. I went to Ziyarah for a while, I felt good, but I came back, I lost you. On my own, I couldn't do it. You come and find me. Right? That's how Munajat Shabaniyeh starts. It's a massive shift of attitude towards your religious practice. Because all our life they told us, be good and earn God. Be good and get to God, and no one gets there. And even if you make improvements like that, one of the side effects of it is that you're going to be very arrogant. And that arrogance, because you're like, ooh, I earned it, will at some point stop you from getting to God. Like Shaitan, poor thing, 6,000 years of worship, the arrogance stopped him. But in this way, the Ahl Bayt say, no, from the start, you say, God, you come find me. Like imagine you're lost in a shopping mall. They say instead of going searching for your parents, you go to a place and say, Mom and Dad, let them come and find you. Because if you're going around, you're just going to get tired. You don't know what you're going to do. Maybe you even leave them all. And so the first step, according to the Ahl Bayt, is the moment you want to make this change in your life, sit down somewhere and genuinely tell God, I am interested in this relationship with you. And you come and find me. In another dua, Imam Sajjad says, the path of the one who wants to go towards God is very narrow and long, but the path of the one that God takes them towards themselves is very wide and clear. You see the difference? It says, you don't go towards God. You tell God to come pick you up. And so, now if I want to, for example, go for my prayer, my attitude will no longer be that, oh, I'm going to pray, I'm going to earn 10 sawab, and I'm going to get these 10 rewards to God. Nah. My attitude is when I'm going to pray, say, God, I've just come to pray to tell you I love you, you come look for me. This prayer may not even be worth that much. I don't know, this prayer, I'm not counting on it as a brick to reach you. This prayer is just my attempt to tell you I am interested in a relationship with you. I love you. I've heard that you're a beautiful God and I want to come towards you, which is another thing, by the way, that we don't have. Our God is not that beautiful. The God of Ahl Bayt is someone to die for. I mean, not in a technical, in a literal way, in a metaphorical way. You're so passionately, you could be passionately in love with the God of Ahl Bayt. It's such a beautiful God. It's a God who forgives. It's a God who doesn't hold grudges. But the God we create for people is that if you make a mistake, God wouldn't love you anymore. Well, if I make a mistake and God is angry at me, why would I even want to go towards Him? So your whole practices of religion become useless. Because most people, when they go to their salah, when they go to their Quran, their heart is not fully looking after God, because the image the heart has of God is not that interesting for the heart. Inshallah, if we have time, and which we have either tonight or tomorrow, I'll read you some of these descriptions of God according to Ahl Bayt. You see, this God is so beautiful. And it would show, if you believe in a God who's so loving and forgiving, you become loving and forgiving. If you believe in a God who's angry, you become angry. You become judgmental. Let's go on a little bit. So we said the first step in Munajat Shabaniyeh is you say, from this point onwards, God, I'm not going to come looking for you. I'm going to ask for you to come find me. I need you. فَقَدْ حَرَبْتُ إِلَيْكَ وَوَقَفْتُ بَيْنَ يَدَيْكَ مُسْتَكِينًا لَكَ. And he says, I have haribtu ilayk. I've kind of ran towards you. I'm escaping towards you. But the interesting thing is this, this is again a metaphorical thing. It's not like I'm running towards God. What I'm saying is that this escape I have towards God, that Imam says, فَقَدْ حَرِبْتُ إِلَيْكَ, it means that I am desperately wanting to come and start this relationship, because every other aspect of my life is full of pressure. At family there's pressure, at work there's pressure, here there's pain, there's pain, and I, in my heart, so the escape is an act of the heart. In my heart, I want to run away from all of that, at least for a few moments, and come towards you and tell you that I need you. راجيا لما لديك من ثواب. I need this relationship with you. Now, a lot of people think sometimes that when I talk about spirituality is, it's just like this, I don't know, new thing. I'm saying these are the words that Imams recited. You know what I mean? That Imam that sometimes you describe the examples and stories of his bravery, the one who took the door out, the one who did this, the one who did that. That Imam, that to you he's the example of the most strong, brave personality. That Imam, at night he would sit down and say, God, I want to escape towards you. Because some people think like they're too cool for talking to God like this. Saying no one is too cool for that. We're all a soul created by God, and we need our Creator, a Creator who loves us. And this part is also very beautiful. Imam says, وَتَعْلَمُ مَا فِي نَفْسِي وَتَخْبُرُ حَاجَتِي وَتَعْرَفُ ضَمِيرِي. You know what's in my heart. You know what I need. You know what exists. وَلَا يَخْفَى عَلَيْكَ أَمْرُ مُنْقَلَبِ وَمَثْوَاي. Nothing is hidden to you of what's inside me. And this for me is I always knew that there's certain things inside us that other people don't know, and God is the only one who fully gets us, but the extent to which this is true has become clear to me increasingly more as I'm traveling more and talking to people. You don't believe it, sometimes people come and hug me, someone who's maybe the age of my grandfather, comes and hugs me and starts crying and saying, there are things I have kept inside for 40 years no one knows. There's so much that even the closest person to us doesn't know. And that's understandable, because there's a million things you have to be careful in life. Not to put pressure on people, they may judge you, they may not be able to handle it, or for whatever reason. And sometimes, but Imam says, know that with God, He fully knows what's happening. He fully gets you. And a journey towards God is not going to be possible unless we know these things. You know what I mean? And your heart needs to know there's a reality out there who's got your back, the reality out there who hasn't brought you here to test you. There's so much wrong about our understanding of God, so much that stops us from going to the one who's the answer to all of our problems. And let me read a few of these, and then inshallah we'll stop for tonight. وقد جرت مقاديرك علي يا سيدي فيما يكون مني إلى آخر عمري من سريرتي وعلانيتي, etc. etc. وبيدك لا بيد غيرك زيادتي ونقصي ونفعي والضري. This part is also very beautiful. Imam says, from Imam's point of view, and by the way, I said Munajat Shabaan is one of those munajats that we have it that a few of the Ahl Bayt recited it. It's a very special one in that sense. The Ahl Bayt wanted to say this is the core of our teachings. You get this, you know us. You don't get this, we're two different people. It says, بَيَدِكَ لَا بَيَدَ غَيْرِ. What does that mean? It says, insan, you need to reach a place where you know that ma'dan al-azma that we spoke about, that all you need, you can get it from God. Well, I'll talk about this a little bit tomorrow more, because I think this is, if you put all of the adiyah we have, let's say, in, and you want to make smoothie out of it, or like juice them, the thing that will come out of all the adiyah is this one line, Ilahi biyadika wa la biyad ghayrika naf'i wa dharari. God, what I need, everything I need is with you. I don't need to worry about other people. This is the main teaching of Ahl Bayt and Quran. And this is not the way we live in. Let me give you a few examples. If my boss today threatens me that he may fire me, would I get scared or not? If I get scared, it means that I'm saying my salary, my rizq, my income is in the hand of this boss. Imam says, no, everything for me, my rizq is in the hand of God. So far it was coming to me through this person. If this person kicks me out, it's going to come through another person. See, this is the main teaching of Ahl Bayt, to be able to look at your life and know that anything good coming towards you is coming from God. God is the source. And that way, you'll never be scared. If your boss says, I'll fire you, I'm going to kick you out, you'll be like, okay. You think my rizq was coming from you? You were a channel through which God was working. You kick me out, God will provide me in another way. Another person, maybe your love. You may think that, okay, love for me is coming through this person. If this person leaves me, I'm going to be lonely. No one going to cares for me. But Imam says, no, biyadika la biyad ghayri. Even the love I'm receiving is coming from God. If this person leaves me, God will send love to me another way. And inshallah, tomorrow we'll talk about this a little bit more. To be the ability to look at your life and know that everything good coming towards you is coming from God, and these channels you see in front of you are just the different ways God works. God works through different people to get you what you want. And in the same way that God works through you to get to other people what they want. The love you show others is God's love for them. It's not from you, but you get to experience that. Anyways, we'll open this up more tomorrow because I think this deserves more attention. Let's read a little bit more. Let's continue. إلهي إن كنت غير مستأهل لرحمتك فأنت أهل أن تجود علي بفضل سعتك. These are again the places in which we really, you see the understanding that we have is deviating from the true Islam. The understanding I said that people teach you all, Ahl Bayt and true Islam are on this side, and you see you get a whole other thing most other places. Imam says, God, even if I am not in such a place that I deserve your mercy and love, but you are so generous that you would give it to me anyway. You know the amount of times that we told our children, if you make a mistake, God wouldn't love you. Imam says, no. Your child, if you make a mistake, he may not then deserve that love and mercy, but God is so loving and caring, he'll still give. Like honestly, think about this one line and how different it is to maybe half of what's in our books. إن كنت غير مستأهل لرحمتك فأنت أهل أن تجود علي بفضل سعتك. إلهي كأني بنفسي واقفة بين يديك وقد أظلها حسن توكلي عليك. It says, Imam says, God, it's as if I see myself standing in front of you, and the trust I have in you is providing shade for me. You see how beautiful that is? The trust I have that you're kind, you're loving, that provides a shade for me as I'm standing in front of you. In other words, if you don't know how loving God is and how forgiving God is, when you stand in front of God, it's not going to be a comfortable experience. There is no shade. It's going to be sunny and hot. What provides you that comfort, that joy when you stand in front of God is that understanding that God loves you no matter what. And so if you don't have that, if you don't know how loving God, every time you go to your salat and you stand in front of God and you want to pray, it's not going to be a comfortable experience because you feel like you're in front of someone who's ready to judge you. You're in front of someone who with the smallest mistake, he may send you to hell. But Imam says, that's not my understanding of God. What happens to bad actions and all of this, I'll explain now. I'm not saying let's go and do bad actions. Honestly, why would I say that? But there's a different understanding there, which even Wiladat Shabaan itself answers as we go later on. Let me read a few more of these to see how crazy this is, how beautiful this is. إلهي إن عفوت فمن أولى منك بذلك. God, if there's like, it says, God, who would be more befitting to forgive than you? Oh, this is beautiful. وإن كان قد دنا أجلي ولم يدنني منك عملي. And if the moment of my death comes and I feel like my actions have not helped me to feel close to you, which I said actions will never get us close to God because you're relying on yourself and that's like an impossible journey. So Imam says, وَإِن كَانَ قَدْ دَنَا أَجَلِي. And if my death is coming close, وَلَمْ يُدْنِنِي مِنْكَ عَمَلِي. And through my actions I couldn't build a bridge towards you, فَقَدْ جَعَلْتُ الْإِغْرَارَ بِالذَّنْبِ إِلَيْكَ وَسِيلَتِي. I still will not give up and I will confess to my shortcomings, and through this confession I will come close to you. وَقَدْ جَعَلْتُ الْإِغْرَارَ بِالذَّنْبِ إِلَيْكَ وَسِيلَتِي. Imam says, the moment you're honest about your sins, the moment you're honest about your shortcomings, God, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. This is who I am. I'm a person who makes mistakes. I'm sorry. The moment you're honest about it, you don't rationalize, you don't make excuses, you don't say, oh, maybe it's not wrong, everyone's doing it. No, honestly, I really wish I wouldn't do this. I wish I was, I wish I would wake up earlier. I wish I was kinder to my family. I wish I was a better person. I wish all of this, but I'm not. Imam says, وَقَدْ جَعَلْتُ الْإِغْرَارَ بِالذَّنْبِ إِلَيْكَ وَسِيلَتِي. The moment you're honest about it, this honest admission itself becomes your way to God. Did you realize what happened? I don't know if you got the significance of what happened. Imam says, with your actions, all these a'mal they tell you do every night. I'm sure mid-Shabaan comes, nights of Qadr comes, everyone will give you a list of actions to do. Imam says, if you want to rely on those actions to get to God, you won't. But if you just sit down and say, God, I'm sorry, this way you'll get close to God. Allah, with those actions, what you should do, even with those actions, say, God, I'm just doing this to show you I love you, and I don't want to stop you from doing the acts. But I'm saying, don't rely on them. Rely only on God. At least this is what the Ahl Bayt teach. إلهي لم يزل برك علي أيام حياتي فلا تقطع برك عني في مماتي. God, all my days of my life, you were kind to me. And so don't stop that kindness when I die. You know the amount of people who tell you, oh, the moment you die, God is ready there to pick the smallest mistake you've made and destroy you. إلهي كيف آيس من حسن نظرك لي بعد مماتي وأنت لم تولني إلا الجميل في حياتي. How can I give up on this, that you will be kind to me, you will have a good attitude towards me after I die? Why should I give up on this? No matter what others tell me, why should I give up on the idea that even after I die, you'll be kind towards me, when in my life you didn't do anything other than beautiful things to me? It says, my whole life, you never exposed me. I've done so many things no one knows. It even mentions, I think later on in the dua, here, next line literally. It says, إِلَهِي قَدْ سَتَرْتَ عَلَيَّ ذُنُوبًا فِي الدُّنْيَا. God, in this life, you've covered so many of my sins that I wouldn't be exposed. Most of us now looking at our life, we have a list of things we're hoping no one finds out. A lot of it we've regretted, we've changed. And God says, God, in this dunya you covered for me. وَأَنَا أَحْوَجُ إِلَىٰ سِتْرِهَا عَلَيَّ مِنْكَ فِي الْأُخْرَى. When I die, I'm going to need this covering way more. Is this honestly what we think of God? God's going to expose you, God's going to do this to you. This is munajat Shabani. And God says, God, in this world you covered it for me. In that world I'm going to need this covering more. Right? So it's a very beautiful relationship with God. And tomorrow, inshallah, we'll talk about how it's actually this way of relating to God that would even help us stop making mistakes. Because Imam later on explains that the energy you need to overcome your shortcomings can never be coming from yourself. So, just to summarize what I have been saying is this, that beautiful souls, you've come to this world, you're not on your own, you're not alone. everything we're looking for, as Imam Sajjad says in Munajat 15, Ya Muna Qulub al-Mushtaqin. Everything you ever yearned for, the source of it is ready to give it to you, not just spoon, but to give you the whole thing. Ma'adan al-Azama. You can connect to the source of everything you're looking for and know that there is a God who's got your back, there is a God who's there for you. And I am saying, don't settle for anything other than that. Don't settle for anything less than that. And if you want that to happen, you have to change your understanding of who God is. God is way more loving than what you think. There's a hadith in which I think it was Imam Ali alayhi salam. He says the beginning of religion is to know God. And I'm saying from the very beginning we've made a mistake. You will only go towards God and get this beautiful life connection to God once God for you is someone you're interested in, someone who's loving, someone you're excited to go towards. So in Munajat Shabaan, we spoke about some of the ways that the Ahl Bayt understood God. To them, God is the one who helps them, takes them towards Him. To them, God is someone who will never hurt them. And may inshallah, God open our heart to start living like this. Thank you so much. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll continue and we'll go deeper. And if you have any questions, think about, by the way, what we discussed. I'm hoping it will create some questions. If that happened tomorrow before the talk, give it to me. We'll talk about it 5-10 minutes about your questions, and then we'll go through the rest of the munajat. And should we end with an amazing salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
أفضل الصلاة محمد وآل محمد يا حسين يا عباس يا عباس يا حسين يا حسين يا عباس يا عباس يا حسين ایک سکھا ہی سکھا ایک وفا ہی وفا ایک سکھا ہی سکھا ایک وفا ہی وفا ایک کرم ہی کرم ایک عطا ہی عطا ایک عطا ہی عطا کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ کربلا کربلا تیرے دو ایک محمد کا بیٹا ایک زہرا کی دعا کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ کربلا کربلا تیرے دو ایک جوانان جنت کا سردار ہے، دوسرا باد خیبر علمدار ہے. ایک جوانان جنت کا سردار ہے، دوسرا باد خیبر علمدار ہے. ایک خدائے صبر و رضا، ایک قرآن وفا. کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ. ایک وہ جس کی مرضی ہے رب کی رضا، ایک وہ جس کو باب الحوائج کہا. ایک وہ جس کی مرضی ہے رب کی رضا، ایک وہ جس کو باب الحوائج کہا. دونوں حرم کے بیچ میں بیٹھو مل جائے خدا. کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو. ایک سبیلوں کا مالک ہے شاہ دوسرے کی نشانی ہے مشک و علم. ایک سبیلوں کا مالک ہے شاہ دوسرے کی نشانی ہے مشک و علم. ایک کا دریا پر قبضہ، ایک دلوں کا شہنشاہ. کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو. ایک عطا ہی عطا اور شفا ہی شفا، ایک سکھا ہی سکھا اور وفا ہی وفا. ایک عطا ہی عطا اور شفا ہی شفا، ایک سکھا ہی سکھا اور وفا کی وفا. آج تلک دیتی ہے صدائیں نہر القما. کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو. کربلا تیری پہچان خاک شفا، انبیاء نے یہاں آ کے سجدہ کیا. کربلا تیری پہچان خاک شفا، انبیاء نے یہاں آ کے سجدہ کیا. زہرا کے بیٹوں نے تجھ کو رتبہ یہ دیا. کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو. مجھ گنہگار کی معاف کر دی خطا، میں جہنم سے سیدھے جناں میں گیا. مجھ گنہگار کی معاف کر دی خطا، میں جہنم سے سیدھے جناں میں گیا. چار قدم پہ حر کا روزہ دیتا ہے صدا. کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو. فرش سے عرش تک ان کا ہی راج ہے، ان کے ہی سر پہ توحید کا تاج ہے۔ فرش سے عرش تک ان کا ہی راج ہے، ان کے ہی سر پہ توحید کا تاج ہے۔ زندہ انہی شہزادوں سے ہے اب تک لا الہ، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ۔ ایک محمد کا بیٹا ایک زہرا کی دعا، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ، کربلا کربلا تیرے دو بادشاہ۔ محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
افضل الصلاۃ محمد و آل محمد۔ یا حضرت عباس روزے پہ بلا لو، بہت دور ہوں تم سے، روزے پہ بلا لو۔ یا حضرت عباس روزے پہ بلا لو، بہت دور ہوں تم سے، روزے رو رو کے تیری جالی کو اشکوں سے بھگوؤں، اب کون ہے تیرے سوا جو حال سناؤں، حال سناؤں۔ للہ بلا لیجیو کچھ حال سناؤں، دل غم سے بھرا ہے تمہیں آ کر میں سناؤں۔ یا حضرت عباس روزے پہ بلا لو، بہت سب مل کے ہم شکوہ ہے تمہیں سے، شکایت ہے تمہیں سے، فریاد میری کرتا ہوں مولا میں تمہیں سے، مولا میں تمہیں سے۔ برباد ہوں بے کس ہوں، برباد ہوں بے کس ہوں، بتا دیجیو مولا، دل غم سے بھرا ہے تمہیں آ کر میں سناؤں۔ یا حضرت عباس روزے پہ بلا لو، سب مل کے روزے پہ بلا۔ دنیا میں نہیں کوئی جسے حال سنائے، روتے ہوئے آنسو کسے مولا ہم دکھائے، مولا ہم دکھائے۔ ہم بے کسو لاچار ہے یا عباس علمدار، دل غم سے بھرا ہے تمہیں آ کر میں سناؤں۔ یا حضرت عباس روزے پہ بلا لو، بہت روزے دم بھر میں میری بگڑی کو تم آ کے بنا دو، کشتی ہے بور میں جو پھنسی پار لگا دو، پار لگا دو، یہ وقت ہے امداد کا، یہ وقت ہے امداد کا، امداد کو آؤ، دل غم سے بھرا ہے تمہیں آ کر میں سناؤں، یا حضرت عباس روزے پہ بلا لو، بہت دور کونین کی شہزادیوں کا واسطہ تم کو، روزے کی ہنسی جالیوں کا واسطہ تم کو، واسطہ تم کو، یہ محفل عباس میں، یہ محفل عباس میں تم وعدہ تو کر لو، ہم کو درے کربل پہ جلدی سے بلا لو، یا حضرت عباس روزے پہ بلا لو، بہت سب مل کے روزے پہ بلا لو، یا حضرت عباس روزے پہ بلا لو، بہت دور ہوں تم سے بلا لو، افضل الصلاۃ محمد و آل محمد، الہی ببیمار دشت بلا، جو بیمار ہو جلد پاوے شفا، الہی برائے امام زمان، ہمیں حول محشر سے دے تو امان، قیامت کو معشور ہو با علی، اٹھے قبر سے کہ ہم یا علی، ہے پانچونوں مل جہاں چاہتاں، احمد و علی، زہرا و حسن، شبیر حسلے تا امام زمان، شبیر حسلے تا امام زمان، ایک ایک پہ صدا صلوات پڑھو، صلوات صلوات و سلام، یا امام زمان فرماؤ ظہور، یا امام زمان، صلوات، اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل
السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا سيدتي ويا مولاتي يا أم المؤمنين خديجة الكبرى، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى سائر الشهداء كربلاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم وعلى الأئمة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن. السلام عليك يا مولانا يا صاحب العصر والزمان، عجل الله لك ما وعدك من النصر وظهور الأمر ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك حجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا.
Mu'mineen, salamun alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we'll now have the musafiha, the handshaking. I'd please invite all the mu'mineen to come and participate in the musafiha. I assure you the tabarruk won't be going anywhere. It will be ready for you after the musafiha, inshallah. Also, mu'mineen, a small request. If you would like to consider on this night making a donation in the name of Abul Fadl al-Abbas, on the gent side we have a card machine available. Please do consider making it. Ahsan, thank you. On the gent side we do have a card machine. Please do consider making a donation on your way out this evening. So once again I invite all of the mu'mineen to join us for Musafiha, followed by Tabarruk, inshallah.